According to surveillance camera footage, a lightning-like flash followed by a thunderous explosion shook Engels, named after the philosopher and home to more than 300,000 people. It hit one of Russia's largest and most important military airfields that hosts strategic Tupolev Tu-160 and Tu-95 bombers. Kiev has not claimed responsibility, but if it is confirmed to be behind them, as is widely believed, they would mark the deepest assaults in Russia since its war began in February. Since October 10, 7 waves of attacks have killed civilians and destroyed or damaged houses, power stations, and other infrastructure needed to keep millions of Ukrainians safe from winter. The weapon is powerful and precise enough to deliver serious damage, including striking anything related to oil, chemicals, and energy, as well as large bridges. For example, across the Volga, Nikolai Mitrokhin, a historian with Germany's Bremen University. The best fighters of the Ukrainian Air Force have just carried out an online strike against the Russian forces occupying the Ukrainian strategic Snake Island. The attack marked a significant escalation in Ukraine's air campaign against a Russian garrison on an island in the western Black Sea, 80 miles south of the strategic Ukrainian port of Odessa. For at least a week, the TB2 Kiev propeller-driven armed drones have been waging a ruthless defensive campaign to suppress and surround Snake Island. The satellite-guided drone, with its 14-pound missile, knocked out at least 3 air defense systems on the 110-acre island, as well as 2 Russian patrol boats and an offshore landing craft, destroying the air defenses, along with any naval vessels attempting to reinforce the tiny island with its single pier, helicopter landing pad, and dozen or so structures, cleared a path for the twin-engine supersonic Su-27s to strike on or before Saturday. A TB2 was nearby, watching with its gimbal-mounted camera as a single-seat Sukhoi, the Ukrainian Air Force's fastest interceptors, streaked low over the island, dropping unguided bombs. Whatever Russian forces were left on the island after the drones did their work, the Su-27s apparently heavily damaged. The raid is striking, and not just because the Ukrainian Air Force committed nearly a tenth of its remaining Su-27s to pull it off. The high-speed bombing also underscored the ongoing collapse of the Russian Navy and supporting forces in the western Black Sea. 3 weeks ago, a Ukrainian anti-ship missile battery sank the cruiser Moskva, depriving the Russian Black Sea Fleet of its biggest warship and its most powerful air defense asset. Bitter ground fighting continues in eastern Ukraine, with Russian forces slowly advancing west of Izium, while Ukrainian forces advance farther north around Kharkiv. 10 weeks into Russia's wider war on Ukraine, the Russian army has yet to mount a sustainable offensive, but in the east, at least the Russians aren't actively losing the war. However, the Ukrainians clearly have the upper hand, even though Kiev's tiny navy, having scuttled its flagship frigate in Odessa in order to prevent its capture, no longer has a single large warship. Instead, the Navy, along with the Air Force, is waging war from land and air and winning. Snake Island is minuscule, but it matters. Whichever country owns the island has a legal claim on many of the resources of the western Black Sea, prior to the Russian invasion beginning on the night. When the Russians demanded the Ukrainian surrender, a member of the Ukrainian garrison reportedly named Roman Rybov heroically responded, "Russian warship, go fuck yourself." The Russians opened fire, killing some of the Ukrainians. A Russian landing force captured the survivors, including Rybov. Moscow later swapped the captives for some Russians the Ukrainians had captured. Russia moved to reinforce its troops on Snake Island. Landing craft hauled in a Zu-23 anti-aircraft gun and Strela-10 surface-to-air missile system. Raptor-class gunboats patrolled the island perimeter. Meanwhile, on land, Ukrainian forces defeated a large Russian force driving toward Kiev from the north. The war's momentum shifted east and south. Moscow is sinking by a pair of Neptune missiles. Black Sea Fleet commanders pulled their surviving 3 frigates farther from the Ukrainian coast. The Ukrainian Navy's missile-armed TB2s to begin their assault on Snake Island. In a heady 10 days, the 1,400-pound drones destroyed the Zu-23 and the Strela and sank as many as 4 Raptor gunboats. When the Russians sent in reinforcements, a Raptor escorting a landing craft hauling a spare SAM launcher, the drones blew up the landing craft and destroyed the launcher. Another TB2 strike destroyed an Mi-8 helicopter while it was offloading troops. The poorly led, weary, and shrinking Black Sea Fleet and its supporting army forces no longer reliably can defend Snake Island. No later than Saturday, the Ukrainian Air Force concluded the airspace was clear. The Su-27s flew in low apparently from somewhere in western Ukraine, successfully avoiding whatever Russian air defenses remain over the Black Sea and arriving unmolested over Snake Island. They popped flares and dropped their bombs, which triggered at least one major secondary explosion, indicating a direct hit on an ammunition dump or fuel tank. Ukraine's Air Force has lost more than a tenth of the planes it had before the war, including at least 4 of its 36 Su-27s. But supplies of spare parts from NATO countries have helped Ukraine technicians to keep the remaining jets in flyable condition and perhaps restore old grounded airframes. Su-25 attack jets are back in action over the main front line in eastern Ukraine. Even the aging Su-24 swing-wing bombers are in the fight again after several of them got shot down in quick succession back in March. The Su-27's bold strike on Snake Island wasn't just the next step in Ukraine's weeks-long campaign to peel back the island garrison's defenses. It was a statement. That statement is this: the aging, outgunned Ukrainian Air Force still is capable of mounting offensive operations. Indeed, right now it might be more capable of deep strikes than the Russian Air Force is, despite the latter's massive advantage in airframes. It's unclear whether or when Kiev intends to attempt a landing on Snake Island. To restore its pre-war economy, Ukraine eventually must regain control of the island. With the apparent capture of the Ukrainian fleet's sole amphibious ship, a landing force might have to come by helicopter. But that's risky. Su-27s are fast, helicopters are slow. Even in its degraded state, the Russian garrison on Snake Island might be capable of defending a heliborne assault. That could change, however. The Ukrainians clearly are determined to strip away Snake Island's defenses, and they're succeeding as they gain control over the military conditions on and around the island.